Protective DNS is a policy implementing DNS resolver that resides upstream from organizations' networks and their roaming and mobile devices. The Protective DNS resolver monitors DNS traffic, and when a policy match is detected, it takes action to allow, block, redirect, or sinkhole traffic. The policy editor feature allows organizations to implement, manage, and customize their own DNS policies while also receiving CISA-managed policies and protections. The policy editor leverages both commercial threat intelligence feeds and custom rules that allow organizations to block or override queries to offer protections against new and emerging threats. Before creating policies, we must understand the hierarchy of policies. To start, there are two levels of policies: global policies and organizational policies. The CISA managed and created policies that apply to all organizations are at the first level. CISA manages policies at the global level to provide protection to all organizations right out of the box. Additionally, organizations can manage and implement additional protections based on their own needs. Within each level, two types of policies can exist. There are static rule-based policies, which contain the organization's own indicators of compromise and dynamic policies, which are based on commercial and open source threat intelligence feeds and continuously change. With the use of global commercial open source threat intelligence feed-based policies, organizations have the ability to create exception policies for the indicators they include. This functionality exists because CISA does not manage all threat feeds and each organization has their own business needs. On the other hand, global policies based on CISA's proprietary indicators apply to all organizations and cannot be overridden. First, we will walk through creating a policy that can be implemented, managed, and customized based on an organization's needs. To note, two policy managers are required prior to creating a policy. Once the user logs into the management application, click the Policy Editor tab and click Add New Policy. From here, the policy information page will appear and we can begin to fill in policy details. The required policy information consists of policy name. Users name the policy. For this example, enter malicious hosts. Policy description. Enter a description to better identify the policy's purpose. For this example, let's enter a description of organization malicious domains. Source set. Here the user can select one or multiple source sets to apply this policy to. This allows the user to apply policies to select networks associated with their organization. The source set dropdown defaults to no value, forcing users to explicitly select the source sets for a policy before saving. More information around source sets and authorized sources can be found in the user guide. Action. Here we can select whether we would like the policy to allow, block, log only, or override the expressions. As a reminder, allow represents hosts and domains that users can resolve to. This is used for exception to policies or as needed to ensure the user's organization functions as usual. Allow can also be used to prevent threat intelligence feed-based policies from blocking specific indicators. Block policies return 0.0.0.0 response or a block page when a match occurs. Log only adds an additional flag to the traffic in the logs without taking any action on the traffic. These policies are useful when users need to create email alerts based on specific indicator matches. Note that all queries and actions are logged, regardless whether users select log only or not. Override means that the user will be taken to a new destination of its choosing. Expressions. We can also add one or multiple expressions to filter DNS queries. Queries that match the expression are handled with the action selected above. It is important to know that multiple domains can be added with the is-in dropdown. This user will now be able to enter multiple domains in the values field. After every domain is entered, hit the tab button on the keyboard to fully input the domain. For example, if we would like to add in multiple domains, we can add badsite.com, hit the tab button, and then add reallybadsite.com. For convenience, users can now upload a .csv file of domain names, maximum 500 names, to upload rather than entering each domain in the values field. After entering all domains or uploading a .csv file, click the Save button. If fields are missing or an action cannot be completed, Error help text appears. After a successful save, a policy successfully created banner will appear at the top of the page, prompting the user to run the impact analysis and then submit for approval. The impact analysis uses historical logs from the organization and displays the number of queries the policy would take action on depending on a selected amount of time. Users can now see all of the impacted source sets, not just the top sets, helping inform a user's decision to submit a policy for approval. The user selects Impact Analysis Report and chooses a duration of 72 hours, the past week, or past month. When clicking the Run Impact Analysis button, a yellow bar will appear at the top of the page indicating that impact analysis is currently running for the pending policy. Once the impact analysis has completed, a green snack bar will appear indicating that the impact analysis is complete and the policy can be submitted for approval. After running the impact analysis, a policy approval table appears letting the user know who created the policy, the approval status, when the policy was last updated, what the last action taken on the policy was, as well as who the approver for the policy is. The user can also click the Status History tab to view the history of this policy. Click the Submit for Approval button to begin the review and approval process. When a user clicks the Submit for Approval button, a pop-up will appear allowing the user to send the policy to a specific approver to approve the policy. Select the user from the dropdown and click Save. The policy just created will appear under the Policy Editor homepage under the Pending tab seen here. A second user is required to review the policy and impact analysis results and decide on the user's organization's specific risk tolerance levels if this policy will be approved or denied. When a policy is either created or updated, an automated email alert will be sent to the organization policy approvers, making them aware that a new policy must be reviewed and approved within 72 hours. To approve or deny a policy, the policy approver must navigate from the Protective DNS dashboard to the Policy Editor page and find that policy. The approver then selects the Actions link and should click View Policy. The policy information page will appear with a Policy Pending Approval banner at the top of the page, and then the user can approve or deny the policy. It is important to note that users with the Policy Manager role are able to edit the policy name and policy description during the approval process without requiring approval from the other policy manager. Click Approve and a pop-up will appear asking the user, "Are you sure you want to approve this policy?" Once we click Approve Policy, then the policy will go into effect promptly. A success banner indicating the policy has been approved will appear on the Policy Editor page. Policy managers can also disable existing policies. To disable a current policy, navigate to the Policy Editor tab and go to the policy. On the far right, select the Actions button, and from there, select Disable. After clicking Disable, a green banner should appear at the top stating that the policy is now pending disable. Like approving a policy, disabling a policy requires a second policy manager to disable the policy. Until the policy is approved, the status of the policy will be pending. Logs associated with the disabled policy can still be retrieved via the DNS log query form. To delete a current policy, navigate to the Policy Editor tab and go to the policy. On the far right, select the Actions button. From there, select Delete Policy. A pop-up will display confirming to delete the policy, and the user is prompted to type in Delete to confirm. Then click Delete Policy. A green banner should appear at the top stating that the action was successfully completed and that the policy is now deleted.